My past will outlast me. Ask me if I agree with my choices now. I'd say no. I'd ask if that's me, 'cause I don't recognize myself anymore. No, sir. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rebel, stepping up to the plate, give them hell, feeling great, show and tell, devastate. I've taken my fair share of beatings and I've retreated and bleeded, but my kids were dying for to give her something to believe in. You're gonna trip, you're gonna fall, you're gonna land face down in the dirt. But when you're done, you'll no longer crawl. You'll be invincible from the hurt. I kick dazzling grass.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 14 of the Roundtable Show. This is a very special episode. I was actually going to review episode 1198 of The Typical Skeptic, where Rob had Aida Farhat, and she was talking about her S.S.P experiences, and I had been lucky enough to get in contact with Audrey Walters, also from the Full Disclosure Now conference that's coming up, and I had asked her to join me to review that. Well, I had made mention of this in one of the Full Disclosure Now chats, which Aida was a part of, and she's like, well, would you like me to join you too? And I was like, well, isn't this just fortuitous? So I am just not only lucky to be joined by my interdimensional exit buddy, Canadian Spinja, but both Aida and Audrey. So, Aida, if you want to go first and give everybody a few minutes about yourself, and then we will go to Audrey and we will just roll from there, because I am just happy as a clam.
Very good. My name is Aida Farhat, and I grew up in the state of Maryland and moved to Florida in 2018 after some severe targeting. So I decided to move here and rebuild my life and, put some pieces together for myself to have a better understanding of what I experienced after a Kundalini awakening in 2011, and through going through severe targeting and my lab abductions and so much more, which we'll discuss in this commentary or roundtable. I am part of the executive team for the Disclosure Now 2024. I don't know if you know that. And we invite everybody. All are welcome. And we hope that you can join us. It's going to be a fantastic conference. And I don't know what else. I mean, I run a small ionic detox and terahertz and EMF business that I just started back up again. And I've got a half a book written. I intend to finish that book. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about myself.
No,
yeah,
that's perfect. So if you want to go ahead and do about the same, Audrey, and then I'll get into some of the stuff that I had noticed. Well, your interview made me think of, and then we can just kind of flow from there on the subjects, because I think that's something, as somebody who woke up to being involved in part of a super soldier program myself last September, I have 1.5 million questions, and that's why I started doing these shows. Is like, okay, I can sit at home and go, well, that was fascinating. I wonder what if I asked them this? Well, what better way than to just ask the people, right? And I'm just so happy to be here. So, Audrey, if you want to go ahead and let everybody know about yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Audrey. I'm going to be truthfully honest. I did not know that this community existed about 1.5 years ago. A 1.5 years ago, I found out that my close friend was my handler through going through a support group that I found on Facebook and finding the super soldier community, and kind of led me down this rabbit hole of what I was going through, which kind of explained a whole lot about myself and what I have gone through. I have a YouTube channel called Starnet Link, and I have documented everything about my life. I have physical pictures and video of UFOs in my backyard to them taking me I have pictures of them doing, I guess, experiments on me, if that makes sense. Last year, they took me and I took a picture of them taking a DNA sample from my cheek. I have actual physical evidence of them taking me and doing things to me. Um, and I documented all on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is also a place where I'm educating people who are kind of new to this, starseed, ufology stuff. I come from a very conservative area where I'm from, and a lot of people don't know that this exists. So I kind of made it for them to figure out what's happening to them in their own community. I'm in the process of writing a book that is based off of my YouTube series called Space School Lessons. I recently figured out, um, I wouldn't say that I'm a super soldier. I would mostly say that I am a MK Ultra kid, if that makes sense, or like a starseed. Um, Around the age of 3, I remember being taken by the really good ETs. And then around the age of 5 is when the S.S.P started to figure out who I was or like what was going on, because I remember that young where I was be taken by really, really benevolent, wonderful ETs that were teaching me about galactic politics and galactic and about Earth and stuff and about my galactic heritage and the reason why I came here. And then right after is being taken by military abductions and them interrogating me about who's taking you, who's teaching you these things. I remember them coming to my school, my private school that I was going to.
Audrey, do you
Being,
mind? I don't mean to interrupt you, but we could only see you from here up.
oh,
There you
is that
go.
okay?
Yes. I mean, I was listening, but I was like, I can't see
Oh
her.
yeah, sorry about that.
You have a
Um,
beautiful face, honey. Definitely. We want to see that gorgeous face. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I remember being interrogated by these men in black. They were like in black uniforms, and from doing some research, I found out that I was being interrogated by Dark Fleet while I was in school, and it kind of catapulted into my some of the experiments or the training lessons that they put me through. I remember going through a maze. I remember the burning house. I remember they put me in some alternate realities where I was trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. Um, and then when I got older, um, certain females that cannot pass the military training, they get put into a different program, which is breeder program. And I remember being in the underground bases, giving birth to hybrid children or children that be either be used for the super soldier program or to be used as ritual sacrifice for the S.S.P. And I have actual physical scars on my abdomen in my private location of them taking those children or doing those type of things to me. And I tried to ask my friend at the time about this because I started to remember, and he wanted nothing to do with it. He didn't want to talk about it, didn't want it, and it just led me into this spiral of wanting to figure out what was happening to me and figuring out what was going on. I do have some memories of what it was like, but I have memory of my galactic family coming and rescuing me from the MyLabs experiments or the dumb experiments. And they threatened the S.S.P that if they did this to me, that they would destroy some of their bases and shut down some of their Stargate bases. And they did it again. They tried to take me, and I do remember my star family destroying a lot of the outer bases And so now I'm kind of like in this state of mind where I'm starting to remember more and more about myself and what I do. I would have to say I'm like a liaison where I'm like a mediator between the SSP and the ETs. Some of the ETs really do not want to work with or talk to military personnel. They want to talk to people that are not part of the military because of the xenopolitics that's surrounding Earth. And I am writing a book about that on my YouTube channel, but I'm really glad to be a speaker for the Disclosure Now movement. Um, It'd be my first time going down to Florida and actually speaking about what I know about xenopolitics and what I've learned from my um, galactic friends. I do know that I'm officially like a human ambassador trying to teach people about xenopolitics and about what is actually happening out of space and understanding how xenopolitics works with the SSP. I hope that it kind of explains everything.
That's fantastic.
That was
To have
absolutely
part of
terrific.
the conference. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I just want to say something to you, Ida.
Yes, ma'am.
I work as an industrial sewing machine operator, and you're and so I listen to the podcast while I work because I'm making the most of my time, right? I'm learning about things and I'm making money at the same time. And so anyway, I just wanted to say, like, your experiences, what you shared on Rob's show, just it spoke to me so much that I had to get my notepad out. And there was just there was just so many different things that you talked about that and I know it's going to come up, that just just as an example, like when you were talking about your eyes being blue and turning to green when you were born, the same thing happened to me. It didn't take as long. And even that, you know, like it's brought me questions. So I guess where I'm going with this is just thank you, because I feel like you're going to like, just with you sharing your experiences, that's going to lead me to where to answer the, like, to find answers, or at least learn how to deal with it and figure out what's going on. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm here to help however I can. I mean, the whole point of me sharing my story, I'm not interested in, I think it's time. I think it's time, and it's been time. It's past time for people to come together and have conversations like this. It's like the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. And it's like, okay, well, we have to have some emotional maturity about us and realize that, you know, it's part of our soul's responsibility to share our experiences in a way that's not traumatizing. And that doesn't always, you know, work out, because depending on the level of conscious awareness a person is at, is how they'll be able to receive the information and utilize it. And it doesn't mean they're going to resonate with everything someone shares, right? But if there are, you know, certain aspects to my story that are helpful, I'm very pleased to hear that you were able to get something from it. So good, very good.
Um, just in case some people didn't get it, do you want to give everybody a few minute recap of your awakening and your beginning to understand of the SSP itself, like where it kind of
Yeah, like
yeah.
Okay, sure.
My biggest questions is like when you figured it out, where did you start? Like who did you ask? You know, it's like,
This is
yeah.
Okay. So first off, let me just say that I've always known that there was something very different about me my entire life. I'm the youngest of 12 kids. I used to think when I was a little girl, you know, that my mother brought the wrong child home from the hospital because it was so chaotic in my home, and a lot of verbal and emotional abuse and physical abuse. And then, of course, you know, behind closed doors, sexual abuse was going on. So And I knew myself, even as a small child, to be a very loving, outgoing, bubbly little girl. And it just didn't make sense that I would end up in this kind of family. Like it didn't make sense. And so fast forward to what you just asked, when I first woke up, I had a Kundalini activation and I was experiencing connecting with beings. I was telepathy. All my gifts were on, fully activated and online. And I've always been a spiritual person my whole life. I did dabble into, I don't want to use the word dabble. I grew up in a Christian family, although we weren't forced to go to church or believe in anything, but it was traditional to, celebrate Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and all the different holidays. And but I always question about God and Jesus and the whole story behind, the Bible is a book of history like every other book. That's what my mother told me, and I hold uh those words dearly to my heart because I agree. I don't believe that what we've been taught about the history of this earth, or um believing in something outside of ourselves to be our Lord and Savior. I'm not the one that you want to talk to, because I don't believe it. And yeah. So, and the reason I say that, I have past lives with the being known as Jesus, and I know exactly who he is, and he's on the planet, and he is Anunnaki. And I won't go into that because it's not my business to expose anybody. So if you ask me questions about him, I won't answer those. I can only share from my personal experience.
Yeah.
He is Anunnaki. He's a reptilian. Yes, Draco reptilian, and he's got his own business to do here. So, but
Yeah.
anyways, when I had my awakening, I contacted, or when I went through, so I went into a drug rehab and was moved into a halfway house, and transitioning into going back out to the society and creating a new life for myself. And I had been through rehab probably about 10 times. So what I know for sure is that uh they use cocaine to get me to go on missions. So evidently, from my understanding, because I've had some readings done, and there's less than a handful of people that I trust to give me real information about myself, and I still run it through my filters and you know tap in and decide whether it's something that I feel is uh, useful for my own expansion. But um, I moved into this halfway house, had the Kundalini awakening, everything changed. All the colors of everything changed. Like outside, the trees were just bright and vibrant. And I knew that I was having something was going on. I was using telepathy, but I wasn't sharing it with people. But there were times when I was using telepathy, which was a very loving, powerful energy, and it scared people. And that's a whole nother part of, yeah. Go ahead.
I actually just I had interviewed somebody on my other podcast that I do with Maya on the Mad Chatter show, and it was a UFO guy. And I had brought up before the show a UFO sighting I had had when I was a kid with a bunch of other kids. And it kind of hit me right in the heart. I was like, I wonder if those guys remember that. And I was sad for a moment. And I'm not kidding. Out of the blue, I got a Facebook message from one of the other kids that was there. And it was like, yeah, we saw it in 92 or 93. It was there for like over an hour. I hadn't even asked her the question. I
So,
just
so,
wouldn't
so you
stop
were,
bugging her.
yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
like I had
And that
no idea.
happens.
And I
And
was like,
that's,
wait,
yeah,
yeah.
that
I was like, wait,
absolutely
did you?
happens.
Yeah, I was like, did you just message me about something that I just talked about on a podcast, but you don't watch my show, so you had no idea that I talked about it? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, just checking.
Yeah. Well, did you ask her? Are you able to tap? Are we using telepathy? I mean, I would ask her because
I haven't got
People are
his I
doing
haven't
it.
got his bowl
It's part of
after,
our,
like, did you
we
hear
think
me?
it's, we think most people, you know, let's just say 3D world, people have a difficult time with really that concept of being able, let me tell you, the military, this has been going on for hundreds of thousands of years, not just thousands. Like these are part of our innate gifts, right? But I don't want to walk around being in everybody's head, and I don't want them in mine, right? Now we get, you know, if we
No.
get to a point as our as the species of humanity where we're no longer using verbal communication and telepathy is, which is a more, from my perspective, a more clear channel to communicate because you're not able to be deceptive, right? You right. So although maybe there's maybe I might have that a little maybe I'm not fully clear on that, but because we do know that there are extraterrestrials and interdimensional that communicate with people and not, you know, play mind games and mind control and the
Yeah.
whole bit. And I'll just call it out. The reptilians are big for that.
Yeah.
You know, creating conundrums in people's minds. But back to, I called the FBI, DEA, all the 3-letter agencies to get help when I had my awakening and the targeting was so bad. Nobody would help me. I remember being on the phone with the CIA agent and he was like, well, what do you want us to do? I mean, we can't, you know, you have no, because that's always there. And they knew exactly, trust me, they know what's going on. If they don't, you know, if you're calling and they don't know exactly, they do some research to find out. These people that are being used to gang stalk, they're getting paid to do that. The police are involved in, you know, street theater and all kinds of other nonsense that's going on. So,
Yeah.
and my house got broke into, and I called the detective up, detective, uh, what was her name? I forgot it. Now my mind's going. See, that happens too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Blank slated. That
yes,
was something you brought up on Rob's show.
yeah, I
And
do. I get,
yeah,
yep. So
um
I called her up and
I
I said, I'll be a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare. You pick which one. I want somebody at my house and I want to know why my house got broke into, why you guys haven't been here to investigate, especially that I lived in a building that was secured. There was no reason. They wouldn't let me see videos or anything because they knew that, you know, she may not have been privy to it, but on the higher, the people involved were very well aware of it. And did you want me to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I just wanted to see where Audrey was, because there's a couple of things that I've noticed in this community is a rough upbringing and drugs and alcohol seem to play a factor in a lot of people that are in these programs' lives. Me being one of them. Like I am a self-confessed recovered alcoholic. Like I spent 30 years at the bottom of a beer can. So like no judgment on anybody. I sniffed enough cocaine to kill a horse, and that's another thing that I think most of us have in common is like when I kind of refused to cooperate with the academic system because I like almost won the science fair in grade 4. I was invited to a thinking symposium in grade 5 that even my sister, a straight A student wasn't, and I had a C average, right? So, like, all of these things lined up where they were setting me up to be part of this academic system. And I went, no, that sucks. Right. Well, the next year, I was saddled in my grade 7 class with every bad kid that had already been exposed to poverty and drugs. Right. And I was seated I was set up to fail because I wouldn't bow to the education system. Even at that age, they target you.
I
Well,
can,
now
I
you're not the
can,
only one. The last, I'm sorry.
they did the same thing to my son as well. He's 16, and it just seemed like when he was in school, um, well, first of all, they wanted so badly to diagnose him with ADHD. They wanted him on medication. Um, his father, I won't get into everything, but it was an ugly, ugly situation. He was abusing him and child protection did nothing. Counselors, nobody did anything. Courts, nothing, did anything to protect him. And in school, then they tried to put him on these different programs. There was an individual education plan, which basically gave him a free pass for doing anything. And he did not have an official diagnosis. He was not on medication. And then the other thing was that he was in a class with there was two kids that bullied him. They had problems like right from daycare. And I made it known. Like, I called the principal and said, like, if there is any way that they cannot be placed in this class together, because there was at least 3 to 4 classes of that grade. There was no reason for these children to be together at all. And they put every year while he attended, like from junior kindergarten when he was 4 years old, right up until he was in that school. Was it grade 7? He was 11.
Grade 6.
Or grade 6. So we would have been 11. Every year they put those kids in, and it's just further validation. There is something up for us.
Well,
Yeah,
the school, I mean, the school is set up. The school system is completely set up. It's like a prison. Think about it. The bell rings and the kids it's all mind control nonsense. We know our history books have been rewritten. We know that math is not correct. All of it, the whole science of number, everything on this planet has been altered in a way that is not the real.
Sorry.
No,
Is
it's
it
okay.
is it okay if I can share my side of the story? Because I had a completely different upbringing when it comes to the programs, if that makes sense.
Well, I just wanted to finish one thing real quick. I have a 6th grade education, guys. I left home at 12. I was with my first handler, and I know from difficulty in elementary school and in junior high, because I did not learn the way other children learned, and I had no interest in being fed a bunch of information that had no value to me whatsoever. And I'm 55 years old, and I've started a few businesses, be it they're not as they weren't successful in the way I wanted them. That's because I didn't stick it out. I have a tendency to start something, and if it's not moving quick enough, I that's changed a lot as I've gotten older. But yeah, the whole school system. My sister's calling me up, telling me how they're making "In God We Trust" now part of the school system, and she has Muslim children. And let me tell you, I'm not interested in the divide between the different religions or political anything, because if you think anybody is being voted in, you are absolutely wrong. They're placed in. And I know this in my heart of hearts. And the school systems, yeah, are very difficult for children these days. I hear all kinds of stories from her. And it's sad. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry, Audrey. I just got me going in my head a little bit
Oh
there.
no, it's okay. So, I had a completely different upbringing. I went to a private school, not a public school. I remember as a young kid, in kindergarten, where
Can
I
you
would
move the
just be
camera
in
a
my,
little bit, honey? Just a little bit. There you
yeah,
go.
is that okay? Do you want me
Yeah.
to adjust it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just,
So I went to a private school, and I remember in kindergarten that I was bullied a lot in kindergarten. I remember I must have done something to the bullies, like I must have gotten either into their head and freaked them out, because um they were like physically violent towards me, and I must have done something to them to scare them off, like use my telepathy. I didn't really realize that I was using telepathy until like I was in second or third grade. That's when I was diagnosed with ADD and dyslexia, and they put me in a specialized room for special children that were disabled. I distinctly remember talking to disabled children, especially one in a wheelchair. And he was helping me doing my English homework. And I just let him talk, and we were communicating telepathy back and forth. And I didn't know it at the time that we were speaking telepathy to each other back and forth as a kid. But the teacher started to figure out what we were doing because he was helping me with my English homework, and they couldn't understand how I would get this kid to interact with me or do certain stuff. But we were communicating telepathy, and this was also the same thing with another kid in a wheelchair. And I was talking to him, and he didn't know that I could speak to him. And he's like, how come the other teachers cannot speak to me, but you're the only one in this classroom that can understand what I'm going through or what I'm going to say? And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. And it's like, I just want to get my English homework done. And I guess the rough upbringing didn't start until I was like in middle school, when my dad lost his job in the 2008 stock market crash. My dad lost his job. My mom was forced to go back into the workforce. She was out of the workforce for like 20 plus years because she was raising us, me and my brother. So she was forced to go back. I just remembered like my dad was just in a really rough rut, and he was causing a lot of stress on our family, especially my mother. And my mother didn't have any friends, so she was putting that stress on me. But it wasn't, I didn't have any like abuse, like sexual abuse or verbal abuse. It was mostly psychological and emotional. But I got through, I got with it. I do know that when I was younger, my parents put me on, I think it was Adderall, I think it was. I had a negative effect with Adderall, to the point where it's actually starting to become an anorexic. And for the first time, my mom took me to the doctor's office, and he was like, this is the first child that we had come into our office in 80 plus years where we have to tell the parent that she needs to gain weight and not lose weight. And he's like, every kid that comes into my office has to lose weight. You're the first child in 80 something years or so many years in our office practice that you as a child, you have to gain weight. And my mother at that time was so afraid of child protective services coming to our door because of how much weight I was losing from Adderall. So they took me off of Adderall. I lived mostly like a normal functioning life. I don't smoke. I don't drink alcohol because I can't stand the taste of alcohol. But I mostly started to remember most of the stuff that happened to me. I would have to say I had a thing called isolation. No matter how much, no matter how much I did try to make friends, whether it be planning play dates, planning time to spend with girls my age or friends, they never wanted to speak to me. They never wanted to sit with me, and they didn't want to even to socialize with me with school projects growing up. So I was mostly isolated from my peers for most of my life. It was mostly called the silent treatment. I call it the silent treatment, where no matter how much you do to try to make friends with people, they don't follow through. Even as an adult, I try to make friends with people. They turn out to hate me or sabotage me in some type of way, like they have some sort of vendetta against me. Um, I've even tried to like, plan things with people and try to do stuff, and they never um want anything to do with me. So I just learned to just deal with the fact that I can't make friends. I'm isolated. I cannot tell you how many times I have tried and tried and tried to make friends with people, and they do not want nothing to do with me and don't want to socialize with me. The only time that they ever want to socialize with me if they want to get information from me. I remember at work one day and she's like, "Are you the type of girl that's into witchcraft?" And I was like, um, and her fundamentally understanding her way of understanding ufology and spirituality, she calls it witchcraft. And I was like, yeah, I would have to say I'm into that. And she's like, I don't like the church that I'm going to. I don't like what the preacher says. Can you recommend me books to read or something to? And they only come to me when they want, like, I'm the type of person, like, if they're in like a religious thing or something like that, it's like they seek me as a way to get out of it, if that makes sense. Like, oh, like, what do you think? And like have some fun with it because they're used to growing up in a Christian fundamental type of thinking, and they see me as the black sheep or this person that can help them get out of it. But that's the only time that they ever interact with me or talk to me, is when it comes to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if anybody else has dealt with the silent treatment.
No.
Actually, my other podcast is about, it's called After Dark, the After Dark Show, and it's actually about a lot of the black bag programs. And a school is a school is a school, and they're all run by the military industrial complex. And these are real programs they run on kids to see how much it fucks with them. Okay. And if they realize they have a successful candidate, they'll run it all through your life. It's not you. You're being targeted. That is a black bag program that, because a school is a school is a school, and that's where you picked it up, was in a military industrial complex institution. So they ran you through this program. That's why you're still in that program. It's not you. I just wanted to put that in there before we continue on. I'm sorry I kind of ranted there, but
Well, I don't know. I mean, I broke programming, Audrey, and I'm not saying this to be boastful in any way, but I know that I have a powerful soul, and I don't I will handle my business if I need to, right? I am a Pleiadian. I'm not human in the way people understand human, and I'm very vocal about that. There's nothing to hide. I started out in Lyra and I went to Pleiades, and from Pleiades I went to Orion, from Orion to Mars, Mars to Egypt in this lifetime. And I've only had a few lifetimes, not as many, not hundreds, very few. So when you hold a high frequency and a certain divine intelligence, like I know you do because I can see you, um, you emit certain frequencies that repel people. So there's nothing wrong with you. It's the level of frequency that other people are running off. It's like having two bandwidths of different frequencies. They can't come together. You can't make them. Now, being a part of this community, and if you're going to be coming to the Disclosure Now conference, you're going to meet a lot of people that are going to be there to support you and to love you and to help you all through this. And we can do that. You can command your sovereignty every day, and you ask the universe. And when I say universe, I'm talking about your own divine source self, to bring people into your life, your age group. People, you don't have to, I don't have a bunch of friends. I have probably a handful of, I will call friends, that I, talk to often, and we do a lot of shadow work together and so forth. And you'll find people, or you will attract those. You continue to be your authentic self, and you will attract like-minded, like-hearted people. Don't give up. You're not going to find it in the public schools, unfortunately. You might find a friend or two, somebody that resonates with, but I'm talking about getting involved in a community. And I don't believe in, cults and, gurus or any of that. You will attract the right people for you to support you and help you navigate in your process. So I just want you to know that, because I can see you, and you are a beautiful soul. I want you to
Yeah,
know
thank
that.
you. I appreciate
You're
that.
very welcome. And you're welcome if you ever, I can send you a friend request if you ever need somebody to just talk to, or I will be more than happy when I have time. I'm kind of a little bit of a busy, but I want to help people like yourself and other people that maybe struggle a little bit with, social inadequacies. And go ahead. Did you guys want to say something?
I just want to say, Audrey, that I felt that. And I'm trying not to cry here because I felt that. That was my experience in my own family. After, and, like, I'm not going to get all into it, like the brief, um, they, after my mom died, her side of the family just, the truth came out. They were fake. My whole life I suspected it, and it was so bad that my mom's family alienated, like, my father cut me out of the will because of them. I didn't even know that my father died until his estranged sister called and told me that. I didn't go to his funeral. And as far as not having friends, I feel you, girl, because I was in, like, and this just came to me as you were talking. So this is why I just want to thank you both again, because you're helping me remember things and put things together. When I was involved in figure skating, and I thank my mom for that, because that is how I coped. I knew I was never going to be an Olympian. My parents didn't have a whole lot of money. Like, they like, we always had food and, like, a roof over our head. Like, we had that kind of stability. But it was not a good upbringing. But my mom put me into skating because she knew it would make me happy, and it helped me cope with a lot of things. But when I got into, like, what was called the test program, like, at the beginning, like, when you start, you're in groups. And so like, there's a group of 5 or 6 kids, and you learn, and everybody kind of talks and all that, but you're there to learn, kind of thing. And then when you graduate from that, you go into the test program, and then that's where everybody's kind of on their own, but you also hang out and give each other feedback and support each other, and everybody except me. I was always by myself. They always looked down their noses at me. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because I wasn't competitive. I was there because I just wanted to be there. I loved skating. I loved the feeling of the freedom. It was my escape. If I was going to do anything, I would have been in the ice capades, because I just wanted to perform for people.
Love
But when you said about, like, being ignored, that's exactly what happened to me. And it happened. I did have some friends in school, but they always treated me like I was below them. And, I was lucky to hang out with them. So I just wanted to say that I get it. And, if you need somebody to, like, I got you. Okay. Like, you, sorry. Sorry.
No, there's nothing to be sorry about. These are the kinds of, making connections like this, guys, is so important. And we're all different age groups. I'm probably older than everybody on here. I'm 55 years old, right? Um, and we're at a stage in humanity in our awakening process, and it is an individual thing. Yes, as a collective, we are moving, but ascension, we'll use that word just for, it's a common word we understand, happens within. It's not outside of you. As you transform and you raise your own frequency and do the inner work and do the shadow work and work through some of the challenges and blockages, your consciousness will expand. 5D is not out there somewhere. It's it's a state of awareness and consciousness. It's not outside of us. What changes within us will be made manifest outside of us, and you will have a different reality, quite literally, depending on what you're choosing for your life. So I am very sensitive, and I hold a great deal of compassion and love for people that have been used in the projects and programs and gone through difficult abductions and so forth and so on. And you mentioned, what star nation do you claim to be connected to? Do you know, Audrey?
I mostly I would have I would have to say that I'm Palladian, Polynomian, Jinnibu, which is also an avian race. And
Can you
I'm
can
also
you make can you lift your
oh
sorry?
yeah, sorry. I'm also connected to Anunnaki because some of the Anunnaki are my cousins, not through blood but through marriage.
Okay.
Um, and I'm also Sovereign Chain Collective, which is a jelly race or like a plasma being race, if that makes sense. But I'm like a mixture of, I'm like a, I guess I'm gonna say a multi
So you
hybrid.
tap in, you resonate with different star nations, not one in particular, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I kind of resonate with like all of them, if that makes sense, because I remember being taken by a reptilian race. They're like all white, like albino white, if that makes sense, and they're like big giant dinosaurs. Like I don't see the
Those are the
adults, but they
royals.
always
Those
put
are the
me they
royals.
always put me in like they always put me in with the kids. Like I'm like their like little spiritual teacher, and I like teach them things. I've also met the dinosaurs or like the reptilian beings that are black in nature. Like they have like black black skin. I've also met a black snake, like this big giant black snake. I have also met the lower ranking ones, like the red ones that are like the engineers, doctors and stuff. Like they have more like red skin or like red scales. And then I met the more lower ranking ones, which is the green. But I have not seen any of the reptilians that are like brown in nature, but only like white, black, and green and red. So I kind of like seen like a whole span of them. I've met the grays. I have a really good relationship with the grays. Like I don't see them as evil. Like I understand with them. Like communicate with them. Sometimes I have really deep, long conversations with them. The Nordics, I have a lot of conversations with them. I met a lot of the Palladians. I meet a whole bunch of different like Arcturians. Like I meet a full range of different races. I even talk to some of the I
Do
guess when I
you
say
do this through
planetary.
do you do this through meditation, or are you astral traveling? How are you doing
Most of
this?
the time I'm astral traveling. Sometimes when I meditate, um, sometimes when I meditate in my backyard, I can have 3 or 4 different ships show up in my backyard when I meditate. So it's kind of like
Okay.
interesting. I haven't done it in a while because every single time that I do it, 3 or 4 black military helicopters come in and harass them. So I don't like doing that if they're going to get harassed by the military when I
Mhm.
do meditation or do deep meditation. Because when I do really deep meditation, um, I have a lot of ships that show up in my area. Like when I was moving to my house on the highway, this is the reason why now I keep a camera in my car so that if I can pull off on the side of the road, I can take video camera. But when I was moving to my house on the highway, there was a Palladian mothership, like a transport medical ship flying down the highway. Um, but yeah, I don't resonate with one particular star nation, but I know what my star origins are in a sense. Um,
Well,
I have
how
a
old are
huge
you, if you don't mind me asking, Audrey?
I'm 27.
Okay, so it's probably likely that now, so I'm 55, so you are part of the newer wave of, we'll call, say, star seeds that have come in. And I do know that the genetic uh what's the word I want to use? The hybridization that's taking place now comparison to in the 60s when I was born is probably they're adding a lot more genetics and different Star Nation DNA probably. But I'm confident that you have a greater connection to the Pleiadians than you do all of the other races. That's just, and I get and
Sort of flip.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Debbie Solaris, who is part of Gaia TV and so forth. But, so I don't field, and I get just certain information that I might get things on, and then by listening to you and I pick up through the vibrate because I can feel into the vibrations of your voice. I'm pretty confident that you have a greater connection to the Pleiadians than you do all of the other star nations that you referred to. And there's nothing wrong with any of them. We all come from source. You know, when I first woke up, I had a big issue with with reptilians because I've been battling with them for a very long time. I came in with the we'll call it the originals. You want to call it the
I
Anunnaki.
never, I never had a bad relationship with the reptilians. The ones that I had a really bad relationship with is with the Anunnaki. I do remember when I was around 15 or 16 years old that they tried to kill me by drilling into my heart. I don't know why they want to kill me, but I think it has a lot to do with the Stargate system because I have a lot of dreams that are connected to the Stargate system. Like I'm trying to get some more furniture in my house, but I really want to do a lot more drawing and artwork of the different Stargates that I have encountered or worked with because I know what their names are. I know how they function. I know where they sort of are. I remember, I think it was like back in February or March where the military showed up. I think it was something to do with Chinese New Year or something because I remember going on a boat, then on a military truck, and I was in another foreign country, and they were trying to get me to access or locate where these stargates were in this other country. And I was like, okay. Like I want to say I have pieces of memory.
You thought
I don't
about getting a
necessarily claim
regression?
that I'm a, like I
Have you
don't
thought about doing a regression?
Yeah. Yeah, I do want to do a regression, but I just don't have the money for it right now.
We can hook you up.
Maya will be at the conference. I'll mention this.
Yeah.
Okay.
My co-host on the Mad Chatter show is a QHT specialist.
There you go. See,
Like
things come together, and
Yeah.
you're gonna meet so many people at this conference, and I will be running around, Brian and I, to make sure everything runs smoothly and everybody's happy and comfortable. So if there's anything you need, you just come and let me know. If there's, are you flying in by yourself? What are you doing? Do you know where you're staying at? Like who you're staying with?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, so you're good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Um,
Okay, so guys, I'm not gonna be able to stay on much longer. I don't know, and I'm not trying to be,
no.
if there's any
I
questions or anything
do,
that, yeah.
sorry, I do want to talk about one of the things that I liked about your interview, or one of the things that I want to talk about is the implant that you were talking about in your eye, like the ones that they insert into your eye, because I noticed, I don't know whole much about it, but I do remember, do remember as a kid that I used to go to the eye doctor a lot, like a lot. And I was wondering it had something to do with that implant that they put in your eye because I do have eye twitching issues or like I want to say like blurry vision, but there were some times when I astral travel or contact or get information like somehow they like tune it, like they tune my eyes or tune my astral vision so that I won't see certain things or know certain things. And I'm wondering if that's connected to this implant that you were talking about with your eyes.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you have implants. I probably would need to be, when I meet you, maybe see if there's anything that I pick up energetically. I've I've noticed mine my whole life, and maybe look into like a light bulb, something really bright, and just see if you see in your third eye in your vision if you see any, because I can see it through my, definitely through my eye. And if I close my eyes, I can see it. And I can also see in this eye, but in particular, it's hooked to this eye, my right eye. They left me at the hospital for 3 days. My sister said 2 or 3 days. I can't remember. And the hospital's reason for keeping me, they said that I had an infection in my right eye tear duct. That is not true. This is the eye that has the scorpion implant. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with Simon Parks, but I did several sessions with him, a good handful of sessions, and I broke programming and became aware of the soul I behold, who I am, my DNA, and so forth. And he said to me, they don't like that you know who you are and what you are. So who I am is a divine soul as you are and everybody else. I am in an AI body. I have an augmented body, but back in the days, back thousands of years ago, Pleiadians couldn't incarnate. They only incarnated in, from my understanding, if I go by the information that Simon Parks, and I'm going to say this is where I got the information, Pleiadians could only incarnate in, say, dolphins or whales or something because their energy is so powerful. You couldn't put it in a normal human body. They could not incarnate, so adjustments had to be made. And I also, my friend Wynn Keach, who is amazing, who was friends with Simon. Now, these are people that I'm referring to from back in the day when, like, back 2011, 12, 13, 14. Um, these are older, and I would highly recommend you guys do some research on these guys. James Bartley. James Bartley is amazing. But I also wanted to make so I have the scorpion implant, and it's interesting that you said that it was you feel like your sight was being manipulated, because I was in my rental office and I was looking at a picture and I noticed the picture would change in dimensions. Like I would
Yes,
look at it and out of my peripheral, it looked like it was coming out and
I
going back
have
in.
I have also heard this implant was also known as like I do remember in the programs that they used to call it the Horus eye implant. I don't know if that's
Hmm,
another name for it,
I've never heard
but
of that.
I do remember them constantly calling the Eye of Horus
Hmm.
because of the implant that they would put it on your eyes and they call it the Eye of Horus. But there were it seems to only happen when I astral travel or when they want me to see certain things. Like I do know that the some of the visitors that I see they can actually like stop it from them like I guess, changing my vision or like altering my vision. But I have noticed that there has been numerous times when I'm dreaming or astral traveling or when I see things that they're trying to like change my vision or get me to notice something within my vision. I'm wondering if it has a lot to do with that implant because that's something that I didn't realize until your interview about that.
Well, okay, so I was using I was used as a double agent. So I worked in the light and in the dark. But when I had my awakening, I realized that I was participating in very dark things that I wasn't willing to continue. Right. And what happens is when you fully activate and you pull the light into your body and you're an illuminated being now. You are a Christed, we'll call it Christed being. your crown chakra lights up. That's what crowns are for all the kings and queens that wear crowns. That's stating that they're illuminated. That's the symbol for that. Okay, but that doesn't mean people can be illuminated and still be doing some horrible things, right? And or let's just say without judgment, because we live in a dualistic reality. But once you balance your right and your left hemisphere and you move up above judgment of any kind and understanding that you too have light and dark in you. And, I wasn't such a, for my, I'm aware of 4 of my past lives. And one of them, I was a tyrant. And she's a very well known empress, and I won't go there. And so I imagine that there is probably a lot of karma that I had to work out in this lifetime for myself. I'm not a believer that you had karma debts, and that's why all this. We agree to have certain experiences in our life in order for our soul growth, so that we could feel what it feels like. For instance, if we've all been saints and sages and martyrs and the villain and the victim and all the different archetypes of all the different things for our own soul growth. And when you get to a place where you could say, okay, that doesn't mean we don't hold boundaries and hold people accountable, and most importantly ourselves, that we say, okay, I'm not participating in things that I know that are hurtful or harmful to myself or other people, to the best of our ability. When you are being manipulated and controlled by AI, you have to break the programming in order to be able to override it. And I'm not saying that, I feel like I still am challenged sometimes. I mean, if you watch the interview, you seen where it said Aida AI gone rogue. I broke away. They did a Illuminati satanic ritual offering me up to Moloch, and I was able to make it back to my body. And I'm very grateful for that. And I will not, although while I'm, practicing humility and being a kind and loving person, but also being in my power and saying, absolutely not. My will is more powerful than the will of all these Satanists that thought they were going to do whatever they did. My desire to continue to be here so that I could be here with you guys now. I'm very fortunate because I know people that have been cloned. They've admitted it. I mean, I can see it, right? That have been put in, yeah. So, and that doesn't make them wrong either. A lot of these programs, I mean, people are doing multidimensional battle. They're getting, there's a lot of stuff that takes place in alternate timelines and dimensions and all of that good stuff. So I'm not here to judge anybody.
No.
Yeah.
Something you brought to my attention that you alluded to, but we actually have all 3 waves that Dolores Cannon spoke of on one show.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know if anybody's ever said that. Like, yeah, like we actually have the 3 waves of volunteers on this show.
Right.
So
46 and 47.
That's
so 77,
awesome.
78.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
so by
you
the way,
kind of made me aware.
So great. I don't know if what is your name? I'm sorry, your girl. What is your name with the glasses?
She goes by Spinja.
Spinja?
Yeah.
So I will share, like, my real name is Kyla.
Kyla. That's beautiful. So Kyla,
Thank you.
So I know that there are less than 2% on the planet that have green eyes. You're aware of that, right? I don't know if you are or not, but there's less than 2% of humanity has green eyes. Most have blue or brown.
Wow.
Okay. 2%. Think about that. That's not much. 2%
Wow.
all of humanity. Okay. So, and this comes from Simon Parks, by the way. And 2% on the planet have, but there's a particular color green eye, a specific color green eye, in which I have. So it's like a genetic marker, if you will, to let the power to be that, I don't like to call it the power, the people that are running this planet, it lets the higher ups know who is who, right? And so if you have green eyes, they know that you were part of the power structure in a past life.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Which
I
means,
have green eyes, but I don't know. I had green eyes right from birth. So,
okay, and that's okay. Yeah.
okay.
So you may be a hybrid of Pleiadian and reptilian, my love, Audrey, or many other things. I
Yeah,
mean, I'd have to
I'm
do.
probably, yeah, I'm
It's
probably
hard to see
a
me clear on this because I'm not getting. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you have yeah, but anyways, so I have those. I don't know if y'all can see, but I have that particular color green eye. Is related to a past life of mine, and one of them that I know for sure, and um, yeah. Anyway, so it's pretty fascinating, and but that is how they recognize who is who, and you know they can
Yeah.
yeah.
That's actually going to give me a jumping off point, just to even look that up. Thank you. Like this is like I didn't even know that was a thing, so I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Thank you.
you're welcome. I wish I could have answered more. I thought, we were going to do more of a commentary discussing, but maybe another time we can do that. I mean, we all had a lot to say, and
Yeah.
that's important. Yeah,
It's kind of
it's
like that
okay.
when you meet similarly minded
Totally
people. Like it's
okay.
like, oh
Yeah,
crap. Yeah. I do want to ask one thing you did mention about before you go really quick. You mentioned Wi-Fi light body abductions.
yeah.
Um,
So the military,
what
black
exactly?
ops use, sure, the black ops use, in my case, and I can only speak for myself, I do know that Rick, the handler that came, um, I had been watching some other podcasts and finding out that they use Wi-Fi to do abductions. And because I was trying to understand how they were able to know things about me or target me in the way they were, of course they have to. That was when I was first woke up. Now I realize the plethora of different technology that's used to target a person. But I had changed my Wi-Fi, my router, so the router address or whatever it's called. When I changed it, I hadn't talked to him for like a month, and he came banging at my door wanting my new email address, so that they could connect in to do the yeah. And I gave it to him. This is the thing. It's like I don't like to think that, I was fully aware that there was something obviously serious going on, but because I was so curious, my ego got the best of me, and um I was challenging them, and I was doing, they come back once you have an awakening. They don't want people walking, especially with augmented super soldier abilities, because all your gifts are what's the word, are uh all your gifts are enhanced. They don't want people walking around fully in their super soldier abilities, especially if they're not able to control them.
Yeah.
And so in my case, that was what happened. They came in, they lifted me off the couch, and they rolled this energy up and down my body. And I said, "Who's doing this to me?" And they blank slated me. So, and I know the reptilian. I mean, there was a battle between the reptilians and the Pleiadians. I'm confident, during that time, and I was part of that battle. Um, and I believe that I was used as uh, I was used, or I put myself in that position maybe um, to attract them, so that when it was time for battle, that things would be taken care of. I don't. I'm still putting things together, but I do have
Yeah.
memory of past life, and am familiar with the. There are everybody's on the planet. Let me just say that. So all the characters we hear about in the Bible, everybody's here. Like all the main characters, everybody
Yeah.
is here. We refer to Adam and Eve, or Enki and Lil. Everybody's on the planet because everybody's here to clear their own karma, move into dharma, and move into unity consciousness, which is one with self and source. And in order for us to do that, we've got to heal. And I'm not saying I have all the answers, but healing is the answer, and most importantly is forgiving ourselves and extending grace to others. That doesn't mean that, there's still so much going on. We know that, right? But I'll tell you that it consumed me for so many years because I was so angry that I was used as a in a satanic ritual, and I was told that
Yeah.
my body was being used as a stargate. And there's so much more to my presentation that I need to, but
Yeah.
I feel like I've just in this past year have really been able to really come out of the what I would call the dark night of the soul and move into higher frequencies of, I'm not a love and lighter, because I will, you know, um, I will defend myself and I will speak truth. Everything's not all love and light. There's real happenings and harm being done on this planet. But I don't
Yeah.
go looking for it the way I used to. When I first woke up, I went down so many rabbit holes. My nervous system was done. I was so angry. I couldn't go anywhere without, I mean, I was talking to the bus driver, the cab driver, the street corner hustler, anybody, doctors, what, like I was telling everybody what I was becoming aware of. And by the way, Audrey, I took Adderall and went to Dr. Tannenbaum when all this stuff was going on. And I had come across an interview on YouTube, which I believe has been taken down. It might still be there. You might want to look into it. But Adderall, as cocaine or any stimulant, opens your crown chakra and makes you susceptible to mind control and entity attachments and so much more. While it helped me focus, it also it's highly addictive. And I went and asked Dr. Tannenbaum because I came across this information that I don't know if you guys are familiar with uh what's her name? Okay, I can't think of her name right this second, but she interviewed a scientist that was part of, I don't know if it was NASA, one of these scientists that are in one of these three-letter agencies. Long story short, they refer to people with ADHD as letter people, which means that we function and we process information differently than and I would say that that has part of having, has to do with AI. I think there is an AI component to that, and that's just my own personal. I haven't read that anywhere. I don't know. I haven't done research on that, but that's just my intuitive gut feeling um,
Can
that
I,
there's an AI component to that.
when I was starting to remember some of my abilities, I do know that the SSP were looking for people that had certain cognitive disabilities because they needed them to merge with the AI system that is used to pilot some of their ships and one of
Sure.
their dark fleet. And I remember, um, I do remember that they put me on a ship and I was piloting it, but it crashed. So I'm wondering if the reason why there's a more higher percentages of people with, disabilities, like cognitive disabilities, like ADD, dyslexia, autism and stuff, are people that can mesh their mind or their consciousness, not necessarily like turn them into cyborgs, but they know how to interface with AI or know how to use AI to where
Okay.
it's like
People think, let me, if you don't mind, people think that AI is this is a new thing and cyborg and all this stuff. No, this has been going on since my perspective, since when the real hybridization started. We'll call it's before biblical times. The mess of, if you want to do any research on the Anunnaki and when Adam and Eve were created, the first man and woman. It's not the first man and woman, it's the first hybridized man or woman. Hybridization, we had 12 strands of DNA initially, and some up 22 and more, but let's just start with the 12. And they've removed the 12 strands of DNA and left us with 2, mammalian and reptilian, who don't get along. A snake and a cow do not get along. Just saying. So we're constantly doing this in our mind, right? So I think what has taken place, in which on one hand has advanced humanity in many ways, from having higher intelligence, AI intelligence, artificial intelligence, to be able to learn concepts and creative expression and so forth. It's coming from either our innate divine gifts, or it's AI. And there is sentient AI. There's, a positive AI. Not all AI is negative. I mean, the Pleiadians, and I don't know enough about it. And my friend Wynn Keach sent me a message. I need to do more research about it. But evidently, the Pleiadians had adapted and used AI as part of their bio for, I think, from wars that were going on, hundreds of thousands of years ago. They chose to take AI on as part of their bio. And hybridization was happening then. I mean, this is stuff that's been going on. My point is for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. I mean, a long time, a very long time. But while all this is fascinating, my last thing I'm going to say before I get off, guys, because I'm going to have to go. I have a long week ahead of me, and then I have Journey of Truth next week. So I've got a lot going on. And you guys tune in to Drago. I'm going to have Drago on. And from my understanding, he's really good at doing QHHT. And he's Dolores Cannon trained. So, but he'll be on Tuesday. And I'm really hoping to reach more hearts and minds and bring people together. And, I don't have all the answers. I don't claim to know it all. I only share from my own personal experience and the very little bit of research I've done, which is next to none, really. I mean, I've listened to people and I observe a lot, and I extract information that makes sense to me and that resonates, and also from my soul self. And I'm not going to say it's spirit guides or angels or aliens or anything like that. We have a divine connection to our higher self, which is our source self. And we can pull in information because that's the divine intelligence. We're all capable of that. It's the super conscious, right? It's not out there somewhere, it's within us. And we could tap into those things and just doing practices, doing breathing techniques, meditation, cleaning the body, detoxing, all of those things. Anyways, I could keep going on about that. And I'm in the process. I'm getting ready to do a parasite cleanse. Do you guys know any good parasite cleansing products? Anybody?
Matthew Morning.
Yeah, I know Matthew sent me. He sent me, and I ordered what I thought was what he recommended, and it's something else, but claims to be the same stuff. It's like off, and I don't trust using it, so I need to buy the one he sent. Thank you for reminding me of that. But I'm gonna say this: that we have a choice every day. While all this stuff is so fascinating, and yes, we have, as a human species, as a divine species, we have it is our birthright to know the truth. Okay, and when we say truth, I mean my truth, your truth, her, but there's only one real truth, and it, depending on the level of conscious awareness, my truths change as I grow, right? Because what I might believe right today, I might find something else out. So I will just say this: we have a choice. We are in the time period of humanity and our spiritual development and growth, that either we are going to go down something we did in Atlantis, where we chose technology over our spiritual growth and development, which didn't get us far, because now we're back doing it again, right? So I just highly recommend people connect with the earth as much as you can. Animals, hold a door open for somebody, buy somebody a cup of coffee, help do shows like you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing, Don, because guess what? we're going to reach the masses, and more of us are going to come together. And we're going to say, okay, I don't care if you're a reptilian, I'm Pleiadian, she's Arcturian, that one's Draco. It doesn't matter. We're in these human bodies now. And it took me a long time because I was so caught up in the galactic war. I'm very fascinated. I mean, I have logged, plethora catalog from my class that I took with Debbie Solaris. I mean, so much information. But well, it would serve us to know our history so that we can make proper changes to live in unity consciousness. Yes. We need to start on this planet right here, right now. Not out on Mars or not out in Orion or Arcturia, whatever, all of that. And guess what? We're having conferences. People are coming together. We're having Day of Being. People are coming together. And we're saying, okay, we may not agree with everything, but we could still, the one highest vibration on the planet is love. And by the way, the color of love is pink, not red. Just so you know, the vibration, color, frequency is pink, right? Yeah. And we can just say, okay, we don't have to necessarily even like each other, but we can build community and collaborate and truly create heaven on earth. Heaven's not out there. It's right here. I mean, even if I'll reference the Bible says heaven and hell is basically is not up, down, right, or left. It's here between, right? And I live in heaven every day to the best of my ability because I'm creating my own reality. And I live a very humble life. I don't have but I'm a pretty happy person. And I still got work to do, but I know that if I put my best foot forward and I make choices that really to do shadow work's so important, guys, right? Because all of our fears, I let my fears get the best of me. My dark night of the soul was not fun at all. And I don't know if y'all have ever had, so Pleiadians have a blue aura. So if you're able to see auras, you'd be able to see, yes. Yeah. Pleiadians hold blue, and I maybe we could do a show one day. I can share some of the stuff that I learned about the different star nations and stuff. That'd be fun.
If you want to come on my other show, then we can set that up.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Maybe when I get back from Journey to Truth. And Audrey, I would love to have you come on my show, Audrey.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, I'd love to have you come on and we can dive a little deeper into your experiences and so forth. And same thing with you and your beloved Don, both of you.
Thank you.
Get some things worked out. Well, yeah. You guys, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you for thinking about me and wanting to do a review. And I would love to, maybe another time we can try doing maybe focus a little bit more on my, I get it. Cause I get all over the place too. So it's not.
I appreciate both of you coming on, and I know it went way off the rails, but I think we got some wonderful information put together for everybody that's going to watch this. But yes, absolutely, you and I can come together because I still have like a list of questions that I had from the episode.
So maybe we'll do that by ourselves. That might be a little, because as long as you have these beautiful ladies on, I'm gonna want to talk to them because I love my sister. So, and I love my brother too. But yeah, we'll figure it out. That sounds good. And everybody, I have a YouTube channel called CosmicRuh8, which means spirit in Hebrew and Arabic. I am Palestinian, so I would love for you to add that. I could send the link, and if you'll add it to your, I'm not. I don't care about followers. I want to build community, and I would love to reach a bigger audience. And Audrey, I'll be in touch. I don't know if we're friends on Facebook, but I would like to get you.
Yeah. If you could send me a friend request, I can.
What is it, Audrey? Let me see if I can find you. Audrey, what's your last name?
Walters, W.A.
Oh, I got you right there. Audrey Walters. Add as a friend.
Beautiful.
There you go. I just sent you a friend request. And Don, you and I are friends on Facebook, right? We're friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's keep in touch and we'll work out another day. This was fun. We all
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much for
share.
inviting me for this
Yeah.
roundtable talk. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this was
I
Yeah,
learned a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. Audrey, do you want to tell everybody where they can get a hold of you if you want to talk to anybody or what have you? I am going to say before we go, I actually made one of the ads for the full disclosure movement, and I'm going to tack it onto this episode right after this. So if everybody wants to hold on and watch that after, that'd be really cool too.
I would
'cause
love to
great
watch it,
movement.
absolutely. If you're gonna play it now, because
No,
you're
no,
gonna
no,
play it right
it'll be when it airs. When it airs,
Okay,
it'll be
good.
on the end of
Make
this.
sure you send the link to me so that I can add it to my YouTube channel and also put a shout out for your show. I would love to, and then we'll
Thank you so
work out another time. Absolutely. Listen, I'll do whatever I can. I'm not in competition with anybody. There's no, and I want to clarify that. Like, we need to let go of any competition. Let's just be supportive with one another. That's what it's about. It's not about like there's so I see the divine in all of you, right? I see your beauty and your true essence. That's what we need to really say, okay, let's just really come together. Let's laugh. Let's talk, what's a maybe we'll do
Yeah.
a thing on a funny abduction. Anybody ever had a funny abduction and an alien did something crazy
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yes.
or a life experience that was related that would we could do something funny where we can make people laugh. Laughing really raises your vibration. Yes,
It does.
all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
You guys rock. Thank you so much
Okay.
for having me on. Yep.
Yeah. Audrey, real quick, where are you?
So my YouTube channel is called StarNet Link. My business email and all my contact info is on my YouTube channel. If people want to get a hold of me, my business contact is starseednetlink@gmail.com. If people want to get a hold of me, that's my business email if people want to connect with me. But hopefully you guys can check out my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is mostly geared towards beginners, so some of the information might be a little bit redundant for some people who are a little bit more advanced, but it's mostly for beginners or people that are starting to learn about this stuff. But thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Real quick, Audrey,
I'll
what
get
is
all
it?
your
Starlink, what? I am going to subscribe right now.
It's StarNet Link. It should have a golden mandala and a purple background as the
Star-
logo for my YouTube channel. I can send you a link to it if
Hey,
you.
why don't you do that? Send me the link and I'll subscribe and I'll send you my link. And we'll subscribe and we'll make sure Don's subscribed. We're all subscribed to each other and we'll get the info out there. And that's all that matters, that we reach hearts and minds of humanity. You guys have a fantastic evening. This was lovely. Yep. Very
Thank
good.
you, Aida.
Yeah, thank
Thank
All
you
right.
all for
so much.
Yeah. You guys
Okay,
rock.
bye,
Have a good
everybody.
evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This summer.
Join your fellow Starseeds, Lightworkers, and Experiencers at the 2024 Full Disclosure Now Conference this July 15th to 18th at the lovely Serrata Beach Resort on St. Pete Beach, Florida. Over 34 Montauk Project survivors, Secret Space Program whistleblowers, ET contactees, and psychic healers will be presenting in the name of the Full Disclosure Movement. The truth must be revealed if we're all to achieve our Star Trek future here and now. This conference will be a fun and positively life-changing experience for so many. In addition to 4 days and nights of presentations, there will be special event dinners, dancing, fun time on the beach, UFO night watch tours, film screenings, vendors, and more. Get your event passes and book your stay now at fulldisclosuremovement.org.